This is Pierre Bouvier, lead singer of the band Simple Plan. I could sing a song for you, Wine 30 with Andrew and Lindsey. Here we go. Andrew and Lindsey hosting Wine 30. Andrew and Lindsey. Through all the best and many more years to come tonight. I'm just a kid. Many more years to come. Peace.
It's Special Friday episode, and we are drinking different wines.
It's beautiful. Absolutely wonderful.
Andrew is drinking a Sauvage Rosé, which we did on the podcast a few weeks ago. And I am drinking an Alma Libre Cab Sauv. I'm not going to ask you tasting notes on it because we chatted about your wine just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But what would you consume? Like, where would you consume this wine? I know you mentioned a few weeks ago. On a beach. You still just say on a beach. I think that's what you said last time, isn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like the Sauvage is also just like a pool wine.
Yeah.
Like water. You want to be by the water.
Yeah.
With that wine. This one. Let's see.
What kind of wine is that?
It's a Cab Sauv.
Oh.
This is like... I want to be like in the cliffs of like Croatia or Greece or something, like overlooking water, but like up above and like, you know how they always have like clay, like looking at houses and stuff, like that plastery clay. Like I want to be on a rooftop overlooking those, overlooking the water.
They have that in France too.
Yeah, but I said Croatia or Greece.
I know. I don't know why.
Because
I'm pretty sure Greece has like little cute spots as well. I know they're known for their islands. I've actually never been to Greece. I really wanted to go to Athens.
Croatia is like my number one spot I want to go. That in Finland. And then Greece is also like definitely top 10 places I want to go. Japan.
Yeah, I hear Japan's a trip because...
Thailand,
yeah. Even parts of China. I want to go to the Dynasty, all the Dynasty stuff. I want to do the Great Wall. I know it's cliche or whatnot.
Well, I'm doing a virtual run/bike, and it's the length of the Great Wall. It's like 2,000 miles.
So you do all the work, but you don't get to see.
Yeah, they send you like little postcards like, this is where you currently are. And they send you like photos.
Huh.
But now I'm like, man, I want to go to the Great Wall like for real. But I wouldn't actually want to like bike 2,000 miles. But I hear you can bike like 100 miles of it. Like,
yeah, that's
easy.
like, what, 3 days biking?
Oh, no, probably less than that. Let's see. It takes me about half an hour to go 10 miles. So it would take you probably like realistically like 4 or 5 hours.
You're like a really fast biker.
I am a really fast biker.
Because I'm like,
but that's also like, that's also stationary biking. Whereas like real biking, you end up going like up hills and downhills and stuff, which like if you're going up a hill, it takes you longer. And like stationary bike, like even if you crank up resistance, you can still keep your cadence pretty high.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So this just makes me this wine makes me want to travel.
I mean, you got a travel bug, especially after all this COVID nonsense.
And we just did like a spontaneous trip down the coast again. So we just got back from WonderCon less than a week ago. And then we went back down to like the Central Coast near like San Luis Obispo area. And we brought our dog and it was her first time at the beach.
Yeah, I love that area.
I know. And she thrived at the beach. She was like in the water, in the sand, in the water, in the sand. Like she was having so much fun. And it was a dog beach. So
yeah,
it was fun. So we've been our last episode was Wednesday. So like literally 2 days ago. Since then we've taken a trip and are back.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
We're doing it.
But now I'm like, ooh, Europe. Ooh, Asia. But we're going to Hawaii next month. So
yeah,
I got to keep it in check. So
Keep it in mind.
we are going to talk about some topics that we didn't talk about on Wednesday, and then we're going to share a little interview.
Yeah, this is an interview episode, so the layout's going to be a little different. We're not going to really talk about what we've been reading or watching.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Actually, do you think money can cure burnout?
Yeah. I'm conflicted because I think sometimes it can cure burnout.
I also agree. I think it's circumstantial. I think if you work a very creative job or you work for yourself, making more money won't necessarily cure that problem. But I think if you work if you're like, I'm a receptionist, I'm a secretary, I'm like a librarian, whatever, like I think getting paid more money can help like rejuvenate some of that spark.
I also think some people, like, everybody's kind of different in what they hold and value. So I think some people hold and value money like really highly. So it can kind of like push them through to that level. And I think you see that a lot of times in like billionaires, where you have like some people that just, it's like a game to them. I was just thinking about the Shark Tank people.
Yeah.
And we saw a interview with the bald one on
Kevin O'Leary.
Bill Maher. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was basically like, I'm not even the richest billionaire. Like he's like, I'm a small fish in a big pond is in the billionaire section.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe he even has that perspective, because like $1 billion is like so unfathomable in my mind. Like, it's like, wow, like, okay, I can imagine having a business worth $1 billion possibly, but I can't like imagine having an expendable $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
And so, or being like, that's not enough money. Like, to me, like if you have that much money and then you're just like, it's not enough. Like, to me, that's like a problem rather than like a quality.
Yeah. I'm like, if I had more than $10 million and was like, it's not enough. Like,
it's like you're thinking
so
about,
crazy to me.
Yeah. And you're thinking about, well, what kind of creativity is that pushing those people to do? Well, it's probably pushing them to do like kind of shady creativity, where they're like, oh, we can like oppress these people to get a little more off the top here, or like, undercut these people and get this here, or like do more packaging, which is more damaging to the earth. And I hate to go there, but we were listening to some stuff about the earth, and it's kind of like, well, are we going to be another generation that just dumps it on the generation after us? I don't think so, And Gen Z is already kind of having issues.
Yeah.
What do they call it? What's the psychological terminology for that? It's environmental anxiety or something.
Probably. That sounds right. I think as far as burnout goes and money, I think it can help if you're like I said, like if you're working a corporate job and the amount of money is enough where you can actually like buy a house, or like it relieves a lot of financial stress. Like you can pay those things, you could like, or it gives you enough money that you can travel, or it pays enough money that you don't have to worry about like your kids can do whatever sports they want. They can buy whatever clothes they want. They can buy whatever toys they want. Like,
and it's like
that relieves strain elsewhere. If
you're too poor, right, and you're just working because you have to get by and feed your kids, then it doesn't matter how much money you make, because like you're going to probably be burned out, and you're going to be working burned out because you can't stop. So like there's really a door for an abuse there. And so I do think that that's an issue. I think if they were to all of a sudden give you more money, like an influx, they would never give you enough to leave the job, So I think that if a company was going to give you more money to not burn out, you would already have to be making a decent amount, right? But not too much.
So I have another topic I was going to bring up on Wednesday that I didn't get around to, which is Palm Springs is offering trans and non-binary residents $900 monthly payments, because they say trans and non-binary people, generally there's like a pay discrepancy. They make less money. So they're going to offset that by offering all those people $900 in monthly payments. But then I'm like, are you just going to get a ton of people moving there that aren't even trans or non-binary, that are like, oh, I'm fluid, I'm non-binary, like, give me my money?
Also, I feel like the government always says they're going to do stuff like that, and then it's like a bureaucratic nightmare, and like only a few people are getting it. Kind of like when they were like, "Oh, small businesses are going to get money during the pandemic,"
Like,
and
as
then
a
all the
grant.
money went to corporate
Oh,
franchises.
those freaking PPE loans where it was
Right.
like all of them went to like, what was it? There was some,
So you
was
have,
it like
like-
Ruth Chris's Steakhouse or something where it's
Yeah.
like a big chain and they like
And so
took
it's
a
like
chunk.
kind of, I'm thinking it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, the people they're probably giving the money to are just claiming trans and on paper, but not even real trans people.
Well, that's what I'm
or-
saying is like trans, it's
non-binary.
very like cut and dry. Like, okay, you're either transitioning or you're already transitioned, right? But for if you're just like, I'm non-binary, I don't like claim any sex, like I'm physically a female, but
Also, how
I'm
is
open, like-
non-binary different from what's it when you're not attracted to either sex?
that's asexual. It's different because non-binary just says you don't see yourself as either gender necessarily or as both genders. So you can be like, oh, like I'm physically a female, but I feel very masculine
Which
a
is
lot of times, but I'm
totally,
also feminine.
like ridiculous.
It's just gender fluid,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
I mean, those people aren't ridiculous. I'm just saying the idea that like
They're paying you
you
$900
think because you're a man you can't be feminine, or you think because you have to be a certain way because you're. It's like, well, why do you have to have a word for being a feminine man or a masculine?
I actually feel like this is something that's going to start changing very rapidly because I feel like our generation was kind of a little bit on board with this. And then I feel like Gen Z is more like, yeah, guys can like pink, guys can be feminine,
Yeah, it's
females
okay.
can like trucks, girls can be masculine. And then like Gen Alpha, like after that, I think it's going to be even more so where guys are going to like whatever, like they can like whatever they want and females can like whatever they want. And it's going to be less like gendered.
Yeah.
Less like pink girls, blue boys. I think it's just going to be like people can like whatever and that's okay. And I'm pro that.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on. It is time to share our interview with you right after a word from our sponsors. If you're like me, you've been starting to shop for the spring season and you have a million tabs open and it's just looking so disorganized. But I want to tell you about a new app and web extension I've discovered, which is called Karma. And I have been, every time I go to a website and I see something I love, I've been saving it to my list. And Karma will tell me if it goes on sale, if there's a coupon code, any of that. And I absolutely am obsessed. It's my new favorite thing. It's a Chrome extension app that you can use to save products from thousands of stores like Macy's or Journeys or Amazon or wherever you like to shop. They have it all on there and it organizes everything into lists and you can get real-time updates like price drops and back in stock notifications. And then when you're ready to buy, it automatically scans the web for coupons and applies the best one at checkout while giving you cashback rewards, which what is better than that? Absolutely nothing. I love cashback. So download Karma for free today through our link for a chance to win $1,000 and go to shop.karmanow.com/wine. That's shop.karmanow.com/wine and you'll find the link in today's show notes as well. This is specifically for all of my small-chested ladies out there. If you are a AA to a B cup, you know how difficult it is to go to the mall and find a bra that fits. I feel like I used to go to the mall, try on 10, 15, 20 bras. All of them would have some issue. Either the band was wrong, there was weird gaping. You all know the problems if you've are small-chested. And that's why Pepper bras are so special. They are perfectly fit for AA to B cups, and there's no cup gaps or uncomfortable padding. Most bras were made with a 36C in mind, and that's why if you're either big or small-chested, they just don't fit correctly. But Pepper used smaller cups to make sure that everything fits perfectly. Pepper has over 11,000 five-star reviews, and for a lot of women, it's the first bra that's actually fit them properly. They've been featured in BuzzFeed, Oprah Daily, Glamour, CNN, NBC, and Pop Sugar, and they were 470% funded on Kickstarter, which is absolutely unheard of. It is amazing. And you can try Pepper risk-free with free U.S. shipping and returns on orders over $99. This bra has been a godsend, and I am so excited for you guys to try them and to get 20% off your first order when you go to wearpepper.com/wine. That's WEARPEPPER.com/wine to get 20% off your first order. That's WEARPEPPER.com/wine. Terms do apply. Available at wearpepper.com/terms. Welcome back. We now have a interview for you with T Murph, Blake Anderson, and Lamorne Morris from Woke. Season 2 just dropped on Hulu. And this was interesting because at WonderCon, how a lot of these press rooms work is you have 3 or 4 different press outlets all sitting at the same table. It's like a roundtable interview. Different people ask different questions. And it's basically like you get our questions mixed with other people's. So if you're like, that's a weird thing for Andrew and Lindsey to ask, it's probably asked by someone else. So this kicks off with them being asked how they feel about filming in San Francisco.
We were actually in Atlanta.
ATL, shorty.
I want to say they had
I love
a
it when I
second
know
unit.
nothing coming in.
That's okay, man. But that speaks to how good Atlanta looks on camera.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
We wanted to. I don't know what happened, but we wanted to shoot in San Francisco.
I think it's pretty expensive for all things.
Yeah, it's gotta be, yeah.
It's got to be budget.
It's got to be.
But Atlanta was awesome.
No.
You fooled me with your A's hat too. 'Cause I was like, you're like battling up the bay.
Oakland.
It's all an illusion, man. I'm sorry.
I thought this was so interesting because when I first started watching Woke, I was like, man, San Francisco looks so good. And then after hearing this, Andrew and I were watching it together and he was like, yeah, they're definitely using camera angles to make it look like hills when there's actually no hills.
Yeah, it's clever, but it's funny because they walk into like a store and it's like flat outside.
But it looks like they were just climbing up a hill for 3 minutes as they were chatting. But there
Yeah.
was like, it's obviously like from a different camera angle, it looks completely flat.
Yeah.
it's
Also, it was
fun.
kind of a weird question, honestly, just because,
Like
I
you
mean-
could Google where filming took place.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like off the cuff, I guess. I don't know. We had some really good questions that we didn't get to ask. And
And I was like,
this is one we could have replaced with one that we would have really liked to ask.
so the next question was basically how the chemistry went like right off the bat on this show between the main characters, because they do have really fantastic chemistry between all of the main guys there.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't like this guy right off the bat, but other than that, you see, this is why. No, like immediately. I mean, from the chemistry read, me and Lamorne were just, we clicked right away, and then when Blake came along, it was the same thing. We were hanging out, prior to the pilot, after the pilot. I mean, all the way up into the first season, and have become great friends.
Yeah. But we had known each other a little bit prior to the show.
Really?
Yeah. TV stars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a club. We were in a group chat.
Great. Didn't know anything about that.
Because you weren't a TV star yet.
Wowzers. That's nice.
Welcome to the life. It's us. It's Ted Danson. It's who else is on our group chat? But yeah, we're both from Chicago, so it was kind of it just happened. It just and the cool thing about that, I will say, going back to an old show I had done, the chemistry was great because the lead on our show and the producers wanted to make sure, like, okay, talent is one thing, that's great, but can they all get along? Do those people actually, they seem like, a good puzzle that would fit. Our director and our producers did a great job of making sure that was part of the conversation, to make sure we all genuinely felt like we liked each other. And immediately, from the first time he walked in the room, he was just a really cool dude, and obviously very funny. But like, it was more so his energy besides the jokes. Because anybody can be funny, but he's funny like at another level. But he's also like just a really, really, really cool dude.
Yeah, if you go into like a comedy club with T Murph, you'll just see the way people respond to him. He's like friends with everybody, and you can just tell he's just a very genuine dude and really easy to get along with. And then Lamorne, this is his show, he's the star of it, but like he's so humble on set, and just that despite what you hear now, his ego is very in check. And they're just good people, and that's been one of the best parts of the show, is just being able to like get closer as like friends. Offset too.
I'm not even mad about the group chat anymore, guys. Thank you.
We'll kick Ted Danson out. We'll bring you in.
Poor Ted Danson getting kicked out of that group chat.
Poor guy.
I know. I don't know if they actually have a group chat with all of them, but I'd like to imagine that they do.
Yeah, me too.
Because like Ted Danson from The Good Place, like mixed with Blake and Lamorne is like, it's a fun crew.
Seems like a very like fantastical land.
I know. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want, to be in a group chat together.
Yeah.
I don't know what they chat about.
I don't know. I'm glad they hit it all off, because I feel like on the show, the chemistry is really nice between them.
And they actually feel like roommates.
Yeah, this was actually one question we had for the director that we didn't get to ask, and that was if they're actually based on real people or...
Yeah, because obviously, okay, so the creator of the show, Keith Knight, created the show. He was a cartoonist, and the main character's name is Keith Knight.
Yeah.
So obviously, Keith is based on Keith.
And Keith lives in San Francisco.
And I was just like super curious, like, were Blake and T Murph's characters also like based on his actual roommates, or were they just like this mystical like imagination of like what roommates would be like for that character? But maybe we'll get to ask in the future.
Yeah, maybe over a glass of wine.
So the next question up was what the hard-hitting topics were going to be for the next season. And then also at the end of this, Lamorne poses a question, like a philosophical question, and was asked if his character would react to this differently than he as a person. So this is his answer to the original question, and then if he would answer it.
Whether white people use washcloths in the shower. Well, tune in.
Yep. Deadbeat dads.
Yeah, definitely deadbeat dads. What is it? White guilt.
Some white guilt in there. Yeah.
In there. A lot of performative, overnight activism. You go on Instagram and tomorrow there's another activist. You're like, I guess I'm supposed to follow this feed. I guess they're speaking to me. Maybe.
Homelessness.
Oh yeah, for sure. Homelessness, 100%. There's a lot, and I think the cool thing about the season as well is that it's not. Even though the first season was very just open ended, it just always asks the question. The second season is the same way. There's two sides to every coin. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you want the microphone and then someone gives it to you? Mm-hmm. Okay, now you have it. What do you do when someone gives you the microphone and then they give you a bunch of money? Do you still care about those same values? So that's the question we ask this season. I think it's going to be a fun one. Lamorne personally thinks that there's a compromise somewhere. There's always, I understand, and we all understand the issues that need to be addressed. But a lot of times that comes with a caveat. It's like, hey, how are you going to get this done? Well, you might have to get some money from somewhere to make this thing happen. It's a constant circle of compromise, of give and take, because the world isn't one-sided. We all have different points of view. Whatever political coin you're on, that's where we live. That's where we live. The man in the high tower over there is a human too, and I guess we got to deal with the consequences of that. We got to deal with people over here. We got to deal with people over here. We got to figure it out. So. Our show talks about that this season, and that's how I feel. I definitely feel like, it ain't so black and white.
So obviously, the white people using washcloths is a hot topic.
Yeah, I had never heard that one, but it's definitely on par with Taylor Swift not washing her legs.
Yeah, she was on Ellen a few years back, and Ellen was like, "Do you wash your leg?" And Taylor Swift was like, "Well, I shave my leg, so like that's sort of washing."
She was
my
like,
legs,
"I wash them
right?"
like twice a week."
And I guess it's a white people thing.
I don't think so. I've always washed my calves and my legs,
I
so I
mean,
don't know.
If I'm shaving my legs, I don't go out of my way to then wash my legs again. But if I'm not shaving my legs, I generally like soap up and wash my legs.
Do you not like soap up and wash your legs after you shave?
It depends. If I'm doing like a sugar scrub type thing or like some sort of scrubby thing, I will. If I'm not doing that, then not always.
You just
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I moisturize them with like sometimes you have like moisturizing soap, so you want to moisturize them after. I don't know. It's dependent. Do you use a washcloth? That's the question.
Do I use a washcloth? I don't know.
Because white people don't use washcloths.
I don't use a washcloth.
I don't either. I am more likely to use like a scrubber or a loofah. I'm not like a washcloth person.
Yeah.
So evidently that's a thing that I didn't realize.
I guess I need to start using a washcloth.
Well, like, don't you have to then wash that washcloth after every use because bacteria?
I don't know.
I mean, poses a good question, right? Okay. So the next question up was for T Murph because he got ripped during COVID and then like showed up on set with a 6-pack. And this is kind of a question of, did he get ripped for the show? How did they react to it? Or was it just for COVID? So here you go.
I showed up to set with no shirt on. You know what I mean? Like I pulled up. No, it really was a celebration. I'm happy that they embraced it. Just because, I didn't know how it was going to be received. And I'm not talking about the audience. I mean, just the writers in general. Because you book something, right, or someone, and then they come back completely different. Yeah. So, but it was a pandemic, and it was one of those situations where it's like, again, you don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, I got to get in shape, man. I can't be out here tired. Look, when the war kicks off.
So, go T Murph for get shape for those zombies.
Yeah. It's inspiring to see somebody go through that change.
Yeah. So the next question was how they enjoyed working with Sashir because she is a great comedian. But she was also on the first season of Woke as well as the second. And this is kind of their opinion of working alongside.
Trash. Okay, let me tell you something. The worst. No, so great.
She's
so great.
Super funny. She's one of the best improvisers in the world. So you all have different dynamics. Our characters are all different, and we all have different points of view. She improvises with each and every one of us differently, and she's that type of sharp. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, it's just fun working with her.
Yeah, that's one of my personal favorite things about this season is I got to do a lot more scenes with Sashir. She's just a pleasure to work with.
So obviously Sashir is amazing. I found out that I actually have been following her on Instagram for probably years.
Yeah, she was one of my favorite characters on the show, and I was actually really surprised she wasn't there on the panel.
But she is on like a comedy tour right now. She's a stand-up comedian. And I think she was in like Indianapolis or something the same day as the panel. So obviously she already had something.
She could have like
booked.
tuned in though on like FaceTime or something. You know how they do that sometimes at panels?
Yeah, like I could see them like incorporating her in the panel, but like obviously press. Like you're not just going to bring her up on Zoom.
That's true.
But I think she's really fun. It would have been a fun like way to add some feminine energy to the panel though.
Yeah.
For sure. So the next question is about if Lamorne actually knows how to draw because his character Keith Knight is a cartoonist because Keith Knight was a cartoonist. So this is his answer of if he knows how to draw as well as Keith or Keith.
His doodles
but
are
I'll
amazing.
elaborate. Yeah, I tried. I really tried. They say you put 10,000 hours into something and you become great at it. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I see little kids that know how to draw certain. I go, no, there's something in their brain that just tells them this is the way a circle is supposed to look. You know what I mean? I couldn't draw a perfect circle to save my life. Never have been able to. And I when I got this role, I worked my ass off. Like, I got markers, I got paper, I started tracing things to see if I could do it on my own.
You can't even trace?
No, I can
Trash. Don't
I'm not lying to you.
don't double back. It's okay.
I don't know if I have a shaky elbow or a weak wrist, but it's like I can't seem to get it right.
It's stage fright.
I never perform well under pressure. Wait a minute. No, that's not what I meant.
Shaky elbow. He looks at the camera.
So I kind of enjoy putting people on the spot a little bit. So with this next question, I was hoping to kind of like throw them off. And my question was like what character they relate to other than the character that they play. And I actually kind of felt bad asking Blake this question because he's the only like white person on the cast or like the main cast. And then you're asking him to compare himself to someone of a different race.
I think it's a fair
But
question.
I also feel like it's a fair question because everyone can see parts of themselves in other people. Like it doesn't matter race-wise if you can
They're just
relate
people.
to someone.
Yeah.
So I obviously asked that question, and this is their response.
Mine, but not me? Huh.
Ayana. Yeah, Ayana. I feel like I relate to her character probably the most because a lot of times I'm just. It can be black and white with me. It's either it's real or it's not, or you're down or you're not. Like so, yeah. I like how blunt she is at times.
I would probably say I would probably say T Murph's character Clovis, because I actually have a shoe collection as well. I'm not as obsessed as he is, but I'm very particular about just LeBrons. That's not Jordans, anybody else. I have them, but like LeBrons. So and then I'll argue with you about it, and that's this. And he has a lot of basketball references for a season. You know, people think he's Baron Davis. He'll lie. There's a lot of James Harden. So I'm a huge basketball fan, so I'd probably say Clovis.
I guess I would go with Keith, just because he's just always trying to do the right thing, but there's just so much thrown at him at so often, and just that internal battle. Like, I think that's something that I can see in myself.
You can see Keith inside.
Pause.
I can see Keith inside. And I do. In my dreams.
So the next question was referring to if they feel like an obligation to act a certain way or answer things a certain way to appease the mass amount of people. And I feel like we all kind of feel that at sometimes.
I think so.
Like even on this podcast, sometimes I'm like, oh, we can't say that. Like, I don't want to upset people, or, oh, like, let's go back. Let's change that. Like, because you're always so scared of like stepping on people's toes in some way or another.
I try not to go back and change too much.
We try not to, but I mean, I think everyone is a little bit conscious of how other people see them.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh, all the time. There's certain bits that you want to do in interviews, and you want to go crazy on this, you want to do certain, and then you think about the ramifications of it, and people might not get it, or I might accidentally say the wrong thing. Like, shit. All the time. You think about it all the time, because you do have to also, that does come with the job though, is having to have that ability to be considerate of the space you share with other people. Mm-hmm. Just because you're the actor doesn't mean you get to do the thing all the time when you want to. Even if it's a joke. So that's the fine line you have to learn how to do.
So this very last question refers to the first episode of Woke, where there's like the wallet predicament. Like T Murph's character Clovis and Lamorne's character Keith are walking around and they find this wallet that has been left by someone. And like T Murph is like, this is a white woman's wallet, like leave it. And Keith is like, no, let's return it to the police. Like, what if this person like lost this, whatever. And T Murph is like, well, if they were mugged, like they're going to frame you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like this big philosophical predicament. And they were asked if they found a wallet, and if so, what they have done. And this is the final response. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. because, we have more with the producers, the directors, the writers next week. But we enjoy speaking with Blake, Lamorne, and T Murph.
I haven't found a wallet, but I've seen like
He said it today.
well, yeah, I mean, it's just certain scenarios where I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I'm just not, I'll see something, I'm like, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? So,
Today we were sitting down in the other room, and there was a purse sitting in the chair.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted a place to sit, but I was like, someone's purse is here, I can't sit here. And somebody else said, just move it. So I said, all right. So I moved it to a different seat, and then
Immediately arrested.
he goes, watch, suddenly that purse had $30,000 in it.
I'm good. I'm not